tied together. Look at this. My hair is tied together. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the hardest hitting I've heard all day.
Oh, good.
Really? Yeah, like as far as
You got that on video?
It's louder than JP's.
What's going on, guys? Back at you with another exciting video. So today we're going to do a walk around of the Jeep. So to start things off, this is a 2001 Jeep Cherokee Sport. I bought this alternator for a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, which was a 99 from McMahon. Retrofitted it to this. My buddy Cameron, again, his dad had a Miller welder. And we took the AC compressor off in his dad's garage one day, and we got a plate of metal and a couple of little pieces of angle, and we welded up these tabs here, one in the back, two in the front, put a pulley here to keep the belt, the wrap on the pulley tight, and literally had an 18-volt charging system then. Ended up winning World Finals that year, my very first year ever competing in Park and Pound. Ended up winning that year. The next year came back, was ready to play this time. I already knew what my car would do. Moved my wall up to the B pillar from the C pillar. And the very first burp I did, I went and got PSI soft parts. And this is where the PSI came into play. So, ran nothing but American based because it's an Ohio-based stereo company, and they're out of Cleveland, which is about 2.5 hours away. Had a hook up on them a little bit, kind of knew some people there, and he would help us out. So I ran a lot of American based stuff, and they would literally blow the recones or the soft parts, which is the part that moves in a speaker. It would blow those every single time that I would play it on music. It would tear the spiders real bad, or it would unwind a coil, which I have two cutaways right here. These speakers here don't have soft parts in them. You can see it's just the magnet, which is called a motor, and then this is called a basket here. Anyways, PSI came into play about this time. I had 4 HD American-based 15s with PSI soft parts. Very first burp, I just got the speakers put in that day. Me and Will Penn went out to a parking lot over on Sullivan in Columbus and did a 59.2 right out of the gate. I had a buddy that was named CJ Henson. He helped me really learn a lot about audio, to be honest, and I give credit when credit's due, irregardless of what anybody thinks. He helped me out a lot, and CJ helped me get this together here, right? So, the exact same alternator setup, same pulley setup, everything, but it kept moving real bad, and it would throw the belt, and it would make all kinds of issues, and it would just piss me off, to be honest. I couldn't even go to a show and enjoy myself. So what ended up happening was I got a hold of my buddy Martin, which was a new friend of mine at the time. I think we actually started being friends about 2015. He ended up saying, hey, let's put this little bracket right here. It goes from the very outside of this alternator bracket, underneath this one, down to a bolt right here. So it made it more rigid this way, and we added bracing that went from the outside corner to the back right there, which you can barely see it under this wire mess that I need to clean up. Anyways, made it really rigid, made it really stiff. It worked out awesome. So this bracket here is a one-of-a-kind triple alt setup for a Jeep Cherokee 4-liter. So my buddy Doug Fabio, which is in my last video, you'll see him and I'll tag him in it. He was like, man, you need to run this, I think this is a Goodyear. I can't remember what it is now, but it was a hair too short. So when I lived at my old house, both these trucks right here, the Jeep and the truck, had hitches on them. I put it around both hitches. This is being ingenuitive here. Could not get the belt on, could not. Tried everything we could, loosened up stuff as much as it would go, could not get it on. So we hooked it around both hitches on both vehicles and stretched it. I took a torch, like this little propane torch right here. See that little propane torch? Took something like that and stretched this belt out and took the torch and heated the belt on both sides and had somebody in the car and was driving like inching forward. So while it was hot, threw it on the car and it fit perfectly. It's tight as hell. Trust me, it's tight. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, because literally the next size up, slip like hell. These are factory door panels and fiberglassed them. So literally you just build up wood, which I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not down in there. See if I can get it to focus maybe. Anyways, layered up 3 3/4 inch pieces of wood, cut it out around this handle here, screwed it to the panel, and then I laid out my speakers on top of the wood. That way I can mark them out, you know what I mean? Laid out my tweeters and everything. Then I had a circle jig for a router, and I cut out all the holes on all 3 pieces of wood that I screwed to it, screwed it back to the panel, stretched fleece over top of it, and stapled it all in the seams. This truck was literally just thrown together this last time. I kind of lost respect for it. I kind of stopped giving a shit about it, which I think that happens to everybody. I need a new vehicle, of which that may be coming soon, may or not. I got 4 McLaren 6.5s, which are the Neo series. I can't remember the exact name of them, but these are the Neo series McLaren 6.5s, both doors clearly, you know, which I'm going to take all this apart and try to make it decent. I honestly, like I said, I don't care too much about this vehicle anymore. Thinking about getting a new vehicle and starting fresh because I've had it for so long. But anyways, we'll go into the cabin first. So, in case my car ever dies and I don't have a way to jump it because the back doors don't have a key entry, I put bolts through the face of the wall and I can charge it through these bolts. And I can also jump start my vehicle. So here, I'll go to this door and show you. I just ran 2 8-gauge wires, sky high, and the ring terminals down to the battery, which is just a factory little cheapo $60 90-day guarantee battery. But I keep it on a charger and it doesn't really charge anything but the highs amps. So it's fine. And it's still a factory alt down there, so it's really not a big deal. But anyways, this is the loading wall to a 4th order. This here is for people that don't know, a 4th order is sealed box firing into a ported box. It's all one box, but literally this is the ported side. So my buddy Martin and I threw this together in about 9 days. I had no clue how to build a 4th order. Just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try it and see what it does. So as the way it sits right now, it did a 159.71, I think was its loudest at a show. It did a 60.4 in testing, 60.41 to be exact. Stock dash, stock seats. I take out the driver's seat during SPL, but everything's stock. Still a radio in the dash, no wires hanging out of the dash, none of that stuff. Just my iPod cord from my phone, not an iPod, sorry. Still stuck in the old. Okay, so this is the ported side right here. So I don't know if you can see, but it's just literally a big box in front of a sealed box. And I have one of the subs out right now because one of them blew. And these left 4 subs here were built in 2015. So that's what I can say about these subs. These were in the flat wall, and I put them in this, and they performed flawlessly for almost a year. And these right 2 here are brand new still. They were built this year, which thinking about upgrading, but maybe it'll be in another build, who knows. So anyways, to sum up what a 4th order is, it's literally a sealed box firing into a ported box. The sealed side is 10.8 cubic feet and the ported side is 18, so it's like 1.8 to 1-ish, I think is what it is. Long story short, me and Martin built this thing in 9 days and did no testing, no nothing. We literally just guessed on this loading wall here, which it's 6 layers of 3/4 inch plywood. This is just pine. Again, don't judge me on my rat's nest here. We threw this thing together in 9 days and I just never took the time to actually put it back together right. I wish I would have just taken the time in the first place in the first place and just put it together pretty and nice. But everything's labeled at least. All the wires have labels on them, but literally just left way too much wire in here, just left it a big old mess. It all works, it all plays. These are the two highs amps for the record. This is the Crescendo Symphony 800.4. You see, I don't know if it'll focus or not, but anyways, this here runs the 6.5s, and this is a Kicker 350.4, which I've had this amp since I was probably 17, 18. Didn't have the money to buy another highs amp at the time when I built this. Was just, like I said, just throwing it together. This amp here runs the tweeters, and it does a great job, as a matter of fact. I know a lot of people will probably talk smack about Kicker, but this little amp right here, shit. There's a relay right there that runs all the remotes for everything. There's another 2 relays on the other side for the alternators because they're externally regulated. But anyways, like I said, Martin wasn't working at the time, so him and I got together, and the main reason we did all this was because there was somebody that we knew that was talking smack. Kept saying I was a has-been, and this is what escalated the whole build in the first place. I'm talking 2013. People talking smack. Just to prove them wrong, I blow my freaking bank account apart trying to prove people wrong, which is silly. This is the beauty part here. This is all what Martin built. He built this amp rack. It's all out of 2x2 steel. I believe it's quarter wall, and I don't know if you can see it very well in here or not. I'll try to get it to zoom in a little bit. But anyways, 2x2 steel, and then you got like 2x2 angle iron under each one of these amps that goes down at an angle welded to it. It's bolted to the floor underneath these batteries, well, behind these batteries here, which we'll get to the batteries in a minute. And it's bolted to the ceiling up top too, so that way the amps do not move. They are solid, they're not mounted to the wall in any way. They're perfect. So then my other buddy, Anthony Reblick, which I think that's how you pronounce his name, he owns Decorative Curb and Concrete. Go check them out on Facebook. They got some badass work they do. And he's getting ready to do some work over here at my house anyways, so go give them a follow. I'll put the link in the description, or I will tag him up in the video. But either way, he's a big car audio nut too, and him and I got together because I sold him one of my amps back in the day, which was one of my 1100.1s. He made me this fuse block here. Taught me how to use a drill press and cut aluminum and everything else. Very intelligent dude, but he made this all by hand. So the reason it's all one bar up top and at the bottom is because in Mecca you could run up to 5 fuses up to your maximum fusing back in the day, back when they'd let you do that. So that's why that's the way that is. But Anthony Reblick, man, I appreciate you for that still, you know, and I never took credit for what you did, but got a lot of compliments on that fuse block. People love it, so that was cool. We went to a B2 M1. Had a buddy named Will Barlow. He ran B2 everything. Actually, one of the first big amplifiers that B2 ever manufactured. This is a 2008 model. It is a 7.5K board, which is a 7,500 watt amp, but I run it on 18 volt. 25K boards, they put out around 9K or so on 18 volt, which back when I first put one amp in on 415s, it did a 158.8 at World Finals, I think, in 2014. And it may have did a 59, I can't remember. But anyways, we clamped 9920 out of one of these amps, which now that I'm in a 4th order, my resistance rises up to 2 ohms each amp. So, which I don't really want to go into a bunch of depth on that because I'm already rambling. But anyways, these amps make, I want to say they make around 7K each. I can't remember what they were making at 2 ohms. But upgraded my batteries so that way I could support all this and not have a shit ton of weight in here. And I went from 1 amp to 2 amps on 415s, and that's when I upgraded to the VFLs that I have in there. And then I upgraded to 6 15s with 3 amps, so still 2 subwoofers per amp. And I'll show you one of those speakers cut apart now because it's out of the truck. But anyways, this is an American-based VFL right here. This is an HDC3 sound cubed, or this motor here is about 2 inches wider and it has a 4-inch coil in the center. This is about a 10 1/4 inch motor. This here is an 8-inch motor with a 3-inch coil. This is where we're at. I got a hold of David over at PSI. He's probably going to be shipping me another recone to get this back playing. And we'll go from there, and I will video when I go ahead and recone this for people that don't know what that's about. But anyways, yeah, these here, they were holding around 3 to 5K a piece, which they're not rated for that. They're probably rated for about 3,500 watts peak, but that's playing music and stuff. On a burp, you could probably send about 7K a piece to them, which a burp is just where you find your frequency and you just do full throttle on one frequency. You don't play music or anything, it's just one frequency, about 3 seconds. I got hip to these lithium batteries here, if I can get this to focus. There we go. So, made a few messages on Facebook to my buddy Todd Dupler, which he's the one that helped me do these straps here, these aluminum straps. I made these ones by myself, but over here, Todd and Chuck both helped me a little bit on the straps to these batteries. But anyways, they helped me building the straps for these batteries. Built them all. Didn't wire them correctly in the first place. Was not impressed with them. Was actually pretty pissed off about it. Because I spent about $2,600 on 210 amp hours, which was a good price. I'm not bitching about the price. But I was mad that they weren't working. My voltage was dropping about 9 volts. So I took it all apart, built these end bars here, which are the drilled and tapped bars right there with all the wires hanging off the end. Ran a jumper wire from each battery, because this is 2 banks of batteries here. 2 banks of 3 to be exact. I have 6 total batteries here. Each row is a battery, if you see that there. There's 3 rows there, there's 3 rows there, left to right. Okay, so anyway, 6 batteries. They're about 17 volts resting. And put all these in, finally got them wired up nice, which Martin's having a cow about my wiring mess here. I don't think it looks bad, but he said that looks like shit, we gotta redo it. I said okay. So I gotta order some lugs and some wire and we gotta redo that. Which this here is a fuse block that he made, Martin. He cut that plexi there for me. Then you can see my alternator regulators back there behind them, which we have a cooling fan back here behind this. Blows down and then it's vented down in the bottom, so that way air can go across them. They don't even get hot. That brake line right there, this one right here, it's ripped in half. And it's one of the easiest brake lines to fix. But it's been broken since May. So that's how much I give a shit, honestly. I put it on the trailer with the handbrake, I unload it with the handbrake, and I drive it all over the show with the handbrake if I have to move it. Load it back on the trailer, take it home, unload it, put it in the garage, don't look at it. I'll catch up with you guys on the next video. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.